We're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Unlucky Charms. I'm here with Dizzy and Girk and our special guest, Eric Stan, CEO and founder of Eric Stan and the Raccoons. Welcome, Eric. It's good to have you. It's good to have you. Before we dig into the podcast, Dizzy has our Irish phrase of the day. So, what do you have for us today, Dizzy?
It's called Chance in Your Arm, a phrase that was born in 1492 in Kildare when the Butlers of Ormond and the Fitzgeralds of Kildare were involved in a dispute that accumulated in the Butlers going to St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin, where they were followed by the Fitzgeralds. When the Fitzgeralds asked the Butlers to come out so they could make peace, the Butlers refused, leading Gerald Fitzgerald to suggest a hole be cut in the door to offer his handshake, aka chance in one's arm. The door reconciliation is still there today.
It's amazing how so many people use it in their day-to-day and not know the history behind it. So there we go, guys. So, yes, Eric, welcome to the podcast. Just give our listeners a little bit about you, what you're about, and tell us what Eric and the Raccoons is all about.
Hey, thanks again. Just to come back to that saying, we have a very similar saying where I'm from, like, that's why you shake hands, or that's why you, like, wave at each other. You show that, your openness and you have no threat, and stuff like that,
It's very cool. But everyday use awesome. Over here, it's like, just say if you asked your boss for like a raise, you'd be like, oh, you're chancing your arm on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, when I pictured, like, when you were describing it, I pictured your man's hand coming through the door, and I'm not going to lie, on the other side there was definitely somebody with the sword going like, when do I go?
Yeah.
You feel lucky, punk.
Yeah, literally.
But at least there's it's still there to this day, like, the peace, long-standing peace.
Yeah, and like, I love these little things and saying, like, in the language, like, I think the culture of all the people is, like, kept through the generations, so yeah, like, I don't know, just the band is my newest project. I started as a producer and in the band of, like, just like friends from school, and we would just try to make things, and then I got a little serious. I went to college to do, like, sound engineering and stuff like that, just to find out, like, as much as I can about it, and I realized, like, I can do, like, for years, like, by myself in my room and just going at it, and it's, but I always, like, felt like out of place when you have, like, a performance and there's, like, a band playing, and then you come on and it's just you and the machines and stuff, and it's like, I wanted to kind of break that,
build it up a bit. Exactly. Yeah.
So I knew, like, Max and, like, my bass player, and and Adam, the keyboard player from, like, before, and there was we have, like, Alfonso is the last member, and he plays the drums and the guitars, and I don't know, it's like we just said, like, we're all, like, during the lockdown, we were all, like, looking for things to do, and like we just kind of went for it, and as soon as we started playing together, it was obvious that, we got something we all enjoyed, and we just kept building on that, and, like, we're in the middle of the process of, like, recording our album, and we'll have a new single soon, and, and all that.
And just for our listeners who haven't heard you before, what kind of genre of music would you classify Eric and
Yeah, it's still, like, hip hop, but it's like, we're trying to lift it up with, like, more jazzy vibes, and like, like, because when you have the live players, I feel so blessed, because my life has been, like, never this easy. I just come in the studio and show them, like, oh, play this for me, and they just, like, play it straight back, like. And I just said, okay, spice it up a little bit or do something, and they just feel it, because there's, like, a feeling in the room that as soon as that breaks or changes, everybody feels it and goes into a different rhythm, So it's like, if you have, like, the good people that are willing, and, it's easy.
But I think you can easily get submerged into music as well. Like, it gets people out of a lot of, like, shit and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
it's therapy,
really
100%.
I'm not exactly sure if Dizzy knows, but Girk and I went out a couple of nights ago to actually witness Eric Stan and the Raccoons live down in Electric Avenue in Waterford, and I do have to say, what a performance. What a performance.
Thank you.
The turnout was amazing, the performance was even more amazing. If you guys ever get the chance to see Eric Stan and the Raccoons live, I highly recommend it.
Like, where can our listeners find you or your band online? Do you have links or?
Yeah, like we have the Facebook page and Instagram, and but yeah, like for now, like as I said, this like it's taken us a while to really like come up with the sound and stuff. But if you want to check like my earlier stuff, like I released some beat tapes and like like from my early productions and stuff like that. So on YouTube, and we'll throw the links in the descriptions.
Absolutely.
And like, is there anything? So like, how long have you been doing music altogether? How many years? Are you comfortable
this
sharing?
comes down to how old I am. No, I'm old. Like,
You're only as old as you feel.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have baby pictures when I'm playing like the fucking pottery. All the pots. Like with I would just like, I think every kid like loves music. It's inherited like in people. Like even the way we learn to speak, it's like nursery rhymes. It has to have a rhythm. It has to be catchy. So, but like seriously, like maybe like 10 years I've been trying to like.
Do you have, so like obviously you started really young, or like we could say Eric Stan, musician from birth.
Hey.
So what would you say 3 of the most influential people in your life have been that kind of led you towards music, or maybe influenced your taste? These can be like artists, family members, whoever, but 3 people.
Yeah, like definitely my older brother was the one that would just come home, because he was like 5 years older than me, and he was like a cool guy, and he would just come home and he would just listen to some cool stuff, and it was like always like some next level shit I never heard before. And like I was like, I don't know, I was into like all sorts of music, like punk and like rock and stuff like this, but I like when the hip hop started where I was from, it was like a new culture, like the graffiti and he did, of course, he brought like a tape and it was just, the song was just curses and it was just bullshit, like, but it was so, because it was like a rebel spirit, so it was like, it was more like a culture, the clothes and the dancing and the graffiti. Graffiti was a big thing for me as well.
So Eric, what was the name of your second influential person for our listeners again, in case they want to look him up, because he seems like he had a really big impact on you.
Definitely.
And maybe other people who don't like hip hop or they haven't given it a chance, they might broaden their horizons.
No, but I think this guy. He was so famous. That song like, oh, it's the sound of the police.
Oh,
yeah. So that's him, So this dude, he's got like freaking 20, 30 albums or something, and he's like,
I grew up on that song.
Yeah, he's like the teacher of hip hop, and
our disco song.
He started like a hip hop church and stuff like that. And he was just doing amazing shit, like organized like a freestyle battles where he would give out like a championships, and he was just doing a lot of for the culture, and I really like thought that's it. That's a good way. Oh shit! That's a good way to kind of like to head out, like for the culture, rather than like selling out and stuff like that. But yeah, it was good. But I guess the last person is also a musician, and it's like there's this guy called Sun Ra, and it's like, he's like a great philosopher as well and a poet, but he was also like a musical genius, and I just really like the idea. He said, how do we make the world better? He said, you can't. Everything has been tried already. We're just repeating, So he said music can actually like teleport people's minds, like, into a different place, So So I really like that idea. And I thought like, I don't know, like, everybody's something in this life, and if you were supposed to like feel good, you want all the people around you to be healthy and good, so if you become a healer or something, like, I don't know.
Well, sound therapy, and there's like healing frequencies that practitioners use. But like going back to your point about music kind of nearly bringing people back, like does that, for me, music reminds me of freedom. Like it's kind of a way of expressing yourself that's global. Like, I can't think of the word, like, it bypasses languages, it bypasses barriers.
A universal language. So this is exactly how I see it. Like, because I don't know, it's so simple to just like communicate with an animal or with a child just through the noises, you know, because the words are like a really complicated thing, you know. I think like for most like people, they get stuck in these, like, you know, they would like chant these like sentences in their heads like non-stop, and not just like that, but like even like things that happened or somebody said something, you know.
Have you had an experience with music like that, like a big failure that you feel like you like? First, what was your big failure, and why was it your big failure?
Yeah, you know,
like where you were like having those thoughts and feeling that.
Oh way, no, okay, I speak from experience, of course, you know, because it's like it's you know, for me that's what it actually was. Like, it was such a therapy, or such a, I don't know, I see it like as a kind of a movement of the mind, you know. But you can get like a full creative control once you understand the little nuances, you know, in the sound, you know. So you could create like a feeling in the sound, you know. I like painting and stuff, and it's like, if you could like liquidize the painting, that's music or something. I don't know how to say, but it's literally like, there's music in everything. Everything has its own sound and vibration.
Well, when you put it like that, you can't really fail at it, can you? It's just what people like.
Yeah, well, of course, but you know, like actually, like in the past, like to become a musician or to be, you know, they had these bards, right? The bard schools, like, were really famous, and this was the longest education out of them all, like 14 years, like, you know, like not even doctors or priests would study that long, like, because they knew like that one song can defeat the nation or make a nation, you know. It's like, I think music is like so powerful that if it's, you know, if it's the right thing, you know, you'll fail every time. And then you move on, and that's exactly what it should be, you know. That's why I think jazz for me became very obsessive, you know. Like, I went through this style of music, and then I realized I don't really like a style of music. I just like good music that I like my preferences. But then I thought, like, what is music? And then I found jazz, like and this Sun Ra and these people, like, they would just like, I don't know, he was a really famous composer, but he would just walk into the room and he would just go to his orchestra and just say, play me an Apple, you know, I want to hear Apple, you know, and you know, and he would like guide them through the mental image, like, and it's just, I don't know,
if this guy in his entire career was just playing jokes on people, like, he actually wasn't being serious, like,
that could be the point as well, you know. And it's you know, this idea of a joker, you know, and this is very, like, I really love that, you know. And you know, because, you know, like rapping and stuff like that, if you're trying to like teach people through like telling them things, that defies the point of teaching, because you have to show them by how you live your life, you know. Because not, if you have children, they don't learn from what you say to them, but from what they see. So if you just have like, you know, if you take like a rap, for example, it's very contradictory, very like a joke on itself, you know, like. But yeah, I think there's like also, like with music, I love when it's like there's comedy in it, you know, because you can, like, it's such a serious thing as well, you know. But you still say, I play a piano, you know, like a toy, like, you know. But of course, in more, you know.
Do you think there's any like funny myths or things about the industry that you'd like to debunk? That like things you think people find funny, or things you heard that were funny that aren't true?
Yeah, like, I don't know, like,
or even to rephrase it a little bit.
Thanks.
Is there any misconceptions that people get about you because of what you do?
Oh yeah.
That I'm going to stay to the point now, listeners. 2 seconds. That you just like to say, oh yeah, that's not true. Know what I mean? Oh yeah, that's not me.
Yeah, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, I had that sometimes because, I don't know, I was just thinking of myself more like the music guy, and I would just make beats and stuff like that. But I realized like I really like writing and performing, so I started doing that as well. And I would get comments like that, like, "Oh, I didn't think you had it in you," or like, "Oh, I would never say," or like, some guy called me the most polite rapper he ever seen. Like, I know, it's just like I think it's with everything. Like, people just straight away like to think that they know.
Will Smith is like a rapper that didn't curse either, and he sold millions.
There you go. No, but I curse, maybe that's one not Richie. But no, it's
I would agree with
everybody have something, and they
because even when you perform, when you come on stage, how you greet people is just like so welcoming, and it's just like it kind of reminds me of like, do you know when you're going to school when you're a kid and you get in the door and you see your friend in the classroom already and you wave?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like you wave at everybody but without waving.
Nice.
And it's like I can't, like, I wish I could
just give them a look.
Image.
It's like when your bestie isn't in school.
Yeah, it's literally like that. And you have to watch them live. You haven't seen Eric and the Raccoons live.
I love the name.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Go for the name alone.
I'm sure we can make that happen. And tell me, Eric, I know that you're into your jazz, you're into your hip hop, but if I was to say top 3 songs of all time, you're stuck on an island.
Oh snap! Well, I don't know. It's like I can only say maybe at this moment that come to my mind or something, because it literally changes every time. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like I really like maybe like some old stuff that I heard many times, and it makes me feel comfortable because I know everything. So I would replay a lot of music. So when I find some new artist or something like that, I really like. I don't know. I like all the new like rap and stuff like that. Like J. Cole, and I like FKJ. It's like I like Jacob Collier. He's not a rapper or anything like that, but I like not. I don't like songs like that, but I like the people, And if I like that person, I go look at everything they did, Mm-hmm. And it's not that I like this song. I just think like, oh, it just shows me of who they are, It's like, yeah, but yeah, so much music there. I don't know.
Dizzy, Girk are the 2 instrumentalists. Do you happen to sing, dance, or
play the tin whistle?
Play the tin
whistle. Corner.
We'll upgrade you to a flute once it does well,
Tried the guitar, lasted 3 weeks, 3 sessions, gave it up.
Well, in fairness now, your nails are like as long as an elephant's trunk, so I can't imagine you being able to play the guitar now. Well, I don't know, you could use them as picks, kind of, or what's it called, a plectrum.
The triangle. I could stand in the corner and...
That's a very important instrument,
Yeah, I think everybody, they should, but they can play something, even if it's like something, like, or just making noise with your foot, or whatever it is. Like, I think music is like this inclusive thing that doesn't require like ideology or like this agreement,
Yeah.
It's like, it's really very...
It's like when people say they can't sing, it's like, no, you can, it's whether you can do it well. Everyone can sing.
But then what is well? It just depends on what they agree. Exactly. Like, you have a voice, it sounds like something, and yeah, of course, some people really try so many things and really learn like tricks and stuff, But yeah, if you with proper training, anybody can become like a okay singer, I'm sure. Like there's rarely you find somebody who's like can't carry that. One note.
We'll start off a year, and then by the end of the year, after vocal training, see how much your voice is actually after.
I did a small bit of vocal lessons when I was doing musical theatre up until I was like 15. They're really hard, and it's really like it's nearly disorientating the way that they do it, because you have a group, because in the musical theatre college I was in, all of the performances we do would be in groups, so you'd kind of have to get comfortable moving while singing.
Yeah. I
wish I still had the lung capacity, but like I still wouldn't I wouldn't consider myself a singer or a dancer or even like a dramatic, because I kind of shelved that. Like I played piano around the same time and I'm trying to get back to it now. But I feel like you're way more ballsy when you're a kid as well.
Oh yeah.
And like if you keep up, like if the ballsiness turns into discipline and you keep doing things, it's amazing. But if you get latsy daisy and you get lost doing like teenager things or trying to become an adult, it's really difficult.
It really has to be your passion.
Like how, like I'm gonna go around the room. This is an open question. Anybody take it. How do you think you can find balance in between managing like adult in inverted commas, whatever you want to call it, life, responsibilities, and then your hobbies, so be it music, art, spending time with people? Like how do you find the right balance? Do you have any tips for the listeners? Open floor.
Really say take time to yourself. Like work out, go for a walk, go to the gym. Really do something to keep your mind active among everything else. Because if you like, you know, if you're not doing stuff, if you're just sitting around, like you're gonna feel shit. Like you're gonna feel bad within yourself. You know, just get up, even if it's only like a 15-minute walk.
Yeah,
to the shop.
People call it a guilt complex, where like you could potentially avoid your guilt by getting off the couch and doing something, or you can sit in the couch and feel guilty and enjoy feeling guilty.
And in terms of life, I'm still figuring that out. There is absolutely no balance. I can tell you that. That's the fun of life.
No, but I definitely agree. Like if you go out and you move, it doesn't matter what you do, walking, whatever. Like, you know, like I always ask people, like if you even know, like, yeah, mind is important, right? You know, but like how to stimulate the brain in the best way? Like, you know, people usually think like, oh, you start reading, or you know, like no, like the bodily movement actually is the biggest stimulator of the brain, because that's the nerve center, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the more you move your body, the more nerve activity in the brain is happening, you know, and your brain becomes awakened, you know. So it's like, you know, if you keep moving, you keep doing stuff, you will be able to keep your health. I'm certain, like, cause you know, I don't know, like I did like a little bit of martial arts, like since I was very young, and ended up like with you know, after I went for competitions and stuff like that, I would like ended up with injuries, because that was, as soon as you go in like for competition or for fight every weekend, you know, and it's like you're bound to get hurt, like you know, like
for a week after, like
there's an injury coming like straight.
Did
because
your mind suffer because of that? Because like
like you're a young person and you're like, everybody's living their life and you're there with broken feet and you're like fuck, you know, it's tough, like, you know.
like David Goggins, he's I don't even really know how to describe him in one word.
A madman.
He's one of the things that I came across recently that he said is that one of the ways to show your mind that you're in control is by moving your body to the point of like, no, like listen to me, we're doing this. And it does have side effects where you have discipline. And then I suppose, did you feel in the lower moments, like when you had injuries, what kept you going was going back, or was it like the practices that you learned for your head?
Like no, like I still didn't understand. I was hurt and I was pissed off, like, you know. And it's like I still tried to fight it, even though I couldn't freaking even move like properly, you know. And I ended up with like long-term injuries, you know, that like people even told me like, that's it, you will never be able to fully recover, you know. When really I met the person that could actually show me how to gain back or how to recover properly, that was when I started to actually understand that my goals are not, you know, I want to go out with the lads and, you know, and stay out all night and then just, you know, do stupid things. But I started to think like in like more like a long-term thing. Like if I do something, it has to be for you know, it has to make sense, not just in the moment, but also for
long-term.
You know,
it's
so
like you can make certain choices for the now.
You can see it coming, exactly, you know. And then that's it, you know, you're just like, keep an open mind, because it's like it's happening in the moment straight away, and you know when you have this, you know, doubts and you know you should do something, you know, and even if you don't know what or how, you know there's something you should do. So I think like this, the life or something, there's natural curiosity, you're born with, and it's like it's like a fire in your belly. You have to follow it. You have to like be attentive to it, because it can guide you, Yeah.
I think a lot of people are infecting with that, and like it makes people feel lost.
Yeah. If you don't know who you are, it's horrible. Like.
It's true. And what was the question to the floor?
Oh, this is a good question.
Mystery to all of us, lads.
I have a brain like a fish.
Comment down below if you. Anyway, moral.
We're getting a cue card in a sec.
I have something to say anyway. Look, it's like this. Everybody nowadays has to work. If you're in hospitality,
balance in life.
Balance in life. If you want to find the balance necessary to have a happy life, this is the only advice that I can give you.
Great.
It's a case of everybody has to work, everybody has to college, everybody has to do something. Facts?
And everybody hurts.
Can everybody agree?
Yes.
Amen. Right?
Preach.
Now, this is the second fact. If you're in hospitality, you're probably working early mornings or evenings. If you got your 9 to 5, you're lucky, but yeah. And then there's the other people who do the night shifts with insomnia. And moral of the story being, 99% of the time people are always thinking, oh, right, I have to wait to go to work, or right, I have work in the morning, or work, right? Whereas that time that they're wasting doing that, they could be doing so much more for themselves, right?
Yeah.
So it's a case of, so do you remember going to school, and do you remember it was so much fun because you had your, at the time it was probably shit, but
so much fun.
Yeah, but
it was so
Go back and do it all again.
But looking back, it was probably some of the fun times of your life, just because you had your schedule. You knew when school was, you knew when you were off, you knew how long it took you to copy the guy next to your homework in the morning.
No responsibility.
All this, right? And what people forget going into adulthood is that you can format that to your life. You know what I mean? It's just a case of you're not looking at it as school anymore. You're looking at it as treacherous work that pays you, and that's cool. That's cool. But at the same time, what you could do is you could look at it at like, right, well, this is my serious time.
Right.
That
was a very serious tone.
Yes, just like just like serious time, and that's your work time. So say you're working, if you're in the hospitality industry, 2 to 11, or if you're in like whatever 9 to 5, whatever, doesn't matter. Point of the matter being, you could be like, right, well, that's my serious time. What can I do around it? And then you're complaining about what you're not getting done, like, oh, I can't go do this because I have work later. That's because you don't make the time for it. Do you know what I mean? That's not because you don't have the time for it. That's because you don't make the time for it. Do you know what I mean? 99.9% of the time. Like, 85% of the problems that you think you have is in your head, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what you all think about that.
Yeah, no, but there was, I don't know who said it, but I said, like, 10 of the things that you most worried about, like, 9 of them will for sure never happen. It's like one might happen somehow. Like,
I'm a proper overthinker like that as well. Like, I'll conjure up a whole situation that hasn't happened and then cry over the thing that hasn't happened. What might never happen.
But I've read a lot into that kind of phenomenon because my brain, I'm a huge overthinker. I'm combating it currently. Meditation's helped me a lot.
Yeah, one of my flaws. It's awful.
Well, one thing I can say is that, like, your brain is going to do what it wants. Like, the mind is mad, it's chaotic, it's like Buddhists describe it as violent. Like the sea. Stop reading it. Like, you're not going to look into the waves and be like, why is this happening? Why is the sea like this? You just accept that it is the way it is. And like a lot of, like what you said, Eric, a lot of the things that we conjure up in our minds, only one of them is likely to happen, but we'll go through all of the scenarios as a coping mechanism. It's our survival instinct to protect us from threats.
Our brain goes naturally to the negative response first. Yeah. Because it prepares itself for that. So like anything after that is great.
Of course, yeah.
That's why like you need 3 positive.
Yeah, but I think the point of that was to maybe, if you know that the brain is wired to do this. Yeah. That if you understand that truly, that the brain's job is actually to do this, just record the data, like if you call somebody and there's nobody there, so there's like a recording machine. So that's your brain, right? Yeah. So if you really think about it, you don't really have to worry about. You don't have to believe it. No. You just played. In the Buddhists, they never try to stop the mind. Yeah, no. They just watch the thoughts like the moving clouds. Yeah, there's idea of detachment. Where you don't identify with every single thought. No. Because in fact your mind or the brain is more like antenna, and I think it's like you don't make thoughts, you don't produce thoughts. You actually just like tune into them, like right now there's like Russian, Spanish, all kinds of radios in the air, but you can't hear them because you don't have the receiver, but your brain is actually just like that. So if you tune into this vibrational state, so I think what I'm trying to say is like how you feel is really the choice in the moment, that you decide upon, like, because I think it's also training from environment, if you never like heard of these ideas and the teachings like this, you maybe go your whole life like chasing some like nonsense, but I think it's like it's pretty simple as well. My granddad was like this, he never read nothing, but he was peaceful. He was great. Like, so I think everybody's born with this.
It's just an innate quality we all have that we get disconnected from.
You're trained into responding a certain way, like so if you have these thoughts, you're like wired to believe it, and it's like, and to emotionally invest and to build up, but just let them pass. It's grand. Okay, I'll die any moment, I can die. That's the brain is thinking about that always, right?
Yes, so you just want to survive.
Yeah, and it's kind of like everyone has something to say anyway, so you may as well just keep going, because like
your thing is your thing.
Yeah, exactly, everyone's going to have something to say. Like at points we all probably have something to say too, so it's just the way of life, and you just over time I say you develop just a thick skin with it, like
you would like, because even it's kind of like, what did I watch while I was on the bus today? It was a short clip with Sadhguru on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Sadhguru,
I love it. And he basically,
I wish I had a beard like that, right?
He was basically describing his journey to the podcast, and he said that he was like, a yogi walks down the street and this man comes up to him and insults him in every way possible. Right. And the yogi responds, he doesn't react, and he says to the man, he gives him time to speak, and then he says, is that all you have to say? If not, I have a podcast to go to. I'll be back later and you can finish what you're saying. And he just went about his day, because he was like, regardless of what other people are saying or doing, he's not going to leave other people control himself. Because he's like, they don't live in your body, they're not you.
Because if you let someone get in your head, or you've let them have a bad day or something to say, they've already won. They've got you, like.
You've given your power away, basically.
You're thinking about whatever, like if you lose sleep over it, like that's when you.
No, this exactly is like, we are so worried about like how other people see us and how they feel and how, if they're happy, and because we're like caring, in nature, so you go worry yourself to, but then you can't let that. That should motivate you, right? Like to make things better. Like, it should actually, without thinking, just how you feel, like if you like concentrate on how you feel, I think you'll have a tendency towards health, towards like things that are good for you,
If you listen to your body.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like a dog. You won't eat some bad things because you can smell it. You can, so it's like, or like, so it's like there is like a natural instinct, but it's like deeper than just senses, I think, it's like, how do you make choices? It's like everybody's a little different, and so it's like everybody has their own journey to go on,
Like I have a tattoo on my back, and I live by the quote on my back, and it's be strong now because things will get better. It may be stormy now, but it can't rain forever.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Has a little rhyme to it.
Quote I've lived by for the last 13 years.
As you should.
Yeah.
It's a good, I think little catchphrases like that can really help us in moments of desperation, or when you're in conflict with yourself. You need something, because I don't believe you should discard parts of yourself that you don't like. So everybody always has qualities of themselves that they don't like. Could even be musicians might not like how they play one evening, and then they might put that aside and be like, well, I hate that part of me that played that type of music. And but you kind of have to unite those things and be like, well, that might be a bad part of me or a bad time, but it doesn't go on forever.
It doesn't define you, and it's not about how you fall, it's how you pick yourself up.
Yeah, it's like accepting the scenario and accepting the situation.
Yeah, there's that jazz quote, I hate you because I love you. It's where does it start and where does it end? It's a really same thing. If you because it's so connected, you cannot separate it. So it's it's I love people, and when I look at them and I just want to make them smile, and then I hate them, and it's and then I love them again. It's the where does it love start and where does it end?
Music is like that as well. It's music, Marmite, and relationships are love hate. I think.
Yeah.
They should make a series about all those three things.
Yeah, love hate. That's exactly. We have to start thinking in equations, because there could be a different word for it, this is how they trick people, in the language, thing, it's the law and the war things, in a tricky way, but it's the natural law is there, the truth is more likely to be obvious, I think, it doesn't like to play that.
Natural law is balance.
Now, based on episode 1, Eric, I'm sure you listened to it. We covered everyone's. It turned out to be a movie kind of conversation. So, do you have a favorite movie of all time, so our listeners kind of get the vibe of what you enjoy?
Yeah.
I really like Jim Carrey and I don't know. I think it's so stupid sometimes. It just breaks me, But I really like comics as well, and Watchmen was I must have seen that so many times, I don't know. I think I can't watch one movie too many times, to be honest. I like anime and stuff like that, where it's a big story and my favorite anime must be hundreds of episodes, and it's and I don't know. Yeah, I like maybe Japanese Ghibli movies, stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't think I've watched any anime or.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Just watch it right now. Do yourself a favor.
I've watched DVDs that my sister had of anime, but this was I don't know, probably when I was 10 or 11.
No, especially from Japan, this Ghibli studio, it's world-renowned animation studio where the best of the best. And you got to work on and to me this is when they build some monument or something. To me it's I cry, I laugh, it's imagine these hundreds of people's working on music, this and this and this, and they all live their lives, and it's this is cultural monuments, and I think it should be it's amazing, once, because they don't have to do that. They can make cheap movies for you have these Hollywood or Disney type, where exactly what's gonna happen. They really put in the love, it's it's your favorite musician that's made it. He don't need to make music no more, you know what I mean? But he chooses to, and I think I love that, I think that's how culture should be. It should not be driven by a profit or a third agenda, it should be about the message,
We're on our 3rd episode throughout the podcast, so we're just going to try something a little bit different. So you're going to be our first little
tap dancing. I knew it.
Go. No. So what I want to do is a bit of a kind of rapid question.
Oh, rapid fire.
Okay. You're trying to get me, man.
So, Sonny, is that what you've been preparing for over there in the corner?
Yeah, that's
fire. 20 minutes.
Man got me. I love this.
Right.
So,
how smart are you?
You have to answer or try to answer as quick as you can. If for some reason I ask a question and you like don't drink beer or don't drink meat or eat meat or whatever, we'll get to that. Drink meat, right? Well, look, here we go. Here we go.
Don't forget to blend your meat in the morning.
2, 1. Ice cream or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Movies or music?
Music.
Baths or showers?
Baths.
Hot holidays or cold holidays?
Hot.
Pizza or stir fry?
Pizza. I didn't even hear the second.
Workout in the morning or the evening?
Mornings.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Yeah.
What's the last song you played?
Last song I ever like
what's the last?
The most recent man.
What's the last song you played?
No, I think the last was the moving on the concert.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, this podcast has been absolutely fantastic. Just for our listeners, is there any place that we can find Eric, Stan and the Raccoons, and are you going to be playing live anywhere in the upcoming months?
Yeah, we really like in the studio these days and trying to work on the album, but if something pops up, we are ready to play at the same time, but we don't have anything solid at the moment, but I want to do like busking and stuff like that while it's nice and hot out there, so you'll definitely see us.
Absolutely.
I'll come down with my vodka in a flask.
Yeah,
chair.
Just ask.
We're moving on to the last part of our podcast, which will be the quote of the evening.
So take us off, Girk.
Okay. So I found this quote, funny enough, by Bruce Lee, I believe. Yes, it is Bruce Lee. Since we talked about Kung Fu, I thought it was appropriate.
Nice.
It is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war. So basically, for anybody that doesn't understand the meaning, it means it's better to learn to prepare yourself physically, mentally, emotionally when you're in a calm situation or environment. This way you can potentially defend yourself in a violent or brutal encounter in the future. Would you agree with the meaning?
I love Bruce Lee, and I got to train under the same grandmaster, and I met some of his family, and the whole Kung Fu thing is like part of my life, for like a long time, like as long as I can remember. He had a similar quote as well, like, that you shouldn't be praying for good times, but for strength to overcome any trouble, So it's like just different way of thinking. I think like you just, instead of just thinking about yourself and when can I do just like maybe try to help people around you or try to like support somebody, and in that maybe you will find something good.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel a bit better.
What do you think of the quote? You haven't dished your dirt, Dizzy, and you haven't dished your dirt, Sonny.
Well, I like the quote.
Mind, body, and spirit, guys. Mind, body, and spirit.
Strength is everything. If you don't have your strength, then you're not going to carry on.
That's
unfortunately.
True. Now, Eric, one last time, let our followers know where they can find you.
Yeah, Eric Stan and the Raccoons, pretty much everywhere, So.
Pretty much everywhere. I'll do it for the both of us, baby.
Close your eyes, they're gonna be there.
So
the Raccoons in the trash.
So, guys,
in every bin in Ireland.
Yeah.
Guys, just like the Unlucky Charms, Eric, Stan, and the Raccoons can be found on Instagram. Can you be found on Twitter?
No.
Soon to be. Instagram's the main, baby. On YouTube?
YouTube,
Facebook. You know it. And for us, the Unlucky Charms, as always, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch.
Sometimes.
Once a month.
TikTok, getting into it. Anyway, until next time, guys, feel free to subscribe down below. Make sure the notification bell is on. Peace out. Good to talk to you.
Peace.
Hey.